Hi everybody, it's Mimi here, and today I kind of wanted to do a different video with you guys. I kind of wanted to do something personal, and what kind of brought this one up was that I was looking at all these like self-help YouTube channels and stuff like that, kind of like the Rewired Soul, how he tried to be a self-help or whatever. I don't know what he tried to be, but there are a lot of them out there that had previous experiences being like into drugs, and so now they're all recovering. And I can see where they're coming from. Like, all these people made it through, and so they want to like spread their knowledge and experience with the world. And there's nothing ever wrong with that, with wanting to help the like humankind. And so before I go any further and I start doing something like that, because I'm not sure like where I'm gonna end up landing or whatever, maybe I'll never land, but in case I start spouting off some self-help stuff, I would like you to know a little bit about me more so that you can kind of maybe trust my opinion more, or like make your own decision as to whether you want to believe me or not. So I'll give you a really brief rundown of my background and where I come from and how I was kind of like raised, or like I pretty much raised myself, but like how I've come to experience my life and the opinions that I have and my outlook on things now. Okay. Growing up, I was religious. Yes, I was very religious. My mom was religious. And there was a lot of dysfunction in the family. I was born very ill. I had bleeding in the lungs. They never explained what it was, but to this day there is scarring tissue, and it affects my life greatly. The other diseases or illnesses that I have are pulmonary arterial hypertension, which is because of the scarring. It's very hard to take deep breaths in, and because of the bleeding from when I was little, and so it's hard to take deep breaths. Another one is juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and maybe one day I will show you the effects of that. However, that one has affected me since I was 11 years old, and I fall under the umbrella of lupus. So I have several diseases, obviously illnesses, and my home life. Regardless of the illnesses that I did have, there was a hell of a lot of abuse. There was a lot of abuse. There was every type of abuse that you could think of: sexual, physical, emotional, everything. And it was 3 children. I was the youngest. The oldest was 9 years older than me. It was my brother, my sister, and myself, and my mother. My mother was a single mom. She was home, like, I'd say 18 to 20 hours a day. She was gone, working long hours. And that's where a lot of the dysfunction came from. When I hit high school, I was already like pretty much spiraling into like just been there, done that, kind of like I've seen the dark side of humanity because of my dysfunction in my family. So I didn't really care much for anything, and I became a heavy user into crystal meth. And when I was around 16 years old, I first met my first love, my high school sweetheart, and the father of my child, who would soon become my husband, and then soon my ex-husband, when I was 16. Okay, and at that time, I just got really heavy into drugs. And he wasn't into drugs. He wasn't into anything, actually, at the time. And he was kind of like a real straight arrow, He never did anything, never even drank, or anything of that matter. But, all right. Okay, so the whole appeal and glamour of like using drugs is that you could lose weight really fast, and you could also focus on stuff, which is what I did. I focused on school, but I would think that I would be so far ahead, but then time would pass quickly and I'd fall behind again. But it was all an illusion. It wasn't even real. But I did lose a lot of weight in like a month, and from then on, like, my body was already adjusting naturally to metabolism, but because I did use, my metabolism got fucked up real bad, and now I couldn't lose weight normally. There was no way I was going to be able to do that. So I ended up screwing myself over in a huge way where I couldn't, I would never know exactly how I would end up looking because I forced myself into losing weight. So, anyway. Okay. And then I was with my ex and managed to somehow magically graduate through the line, which means that you would actually go up and get your cap and gown. I mean, be in your cap and gown, get your diploma, and walk down again. The whole ceremony. Only certain people actually, like, you have to have full credits in order to go down to get to actually be able to enjoy the ceremony. And I managed to make it so that I was able to. Okay, so I'm still with the same person, and I get my job, and I get my first job as a Target, and then I get my second job, which would be considered Verizon now. But yeah, back when I first started, it was high pressure sales, and I wasn't doing well with that. Like, we had to sell so much. We had to sell so much because the company was trying to make revenue because there was so much competition. This was at the start of, like, deregulation of airwaves, I guess you could say, radio waves, whatever, cellular service. Okay, so they were trying their hardest to be the one up, and so that meant a lot more sales for us. A lot of people couldn't handle it. A lot of people couldn't handle the high pressure sales in the building. A lot of them would actually try to commit suicide by jumping, like threatening to jump off the building, or we would receive bomb threats from very, very angry customers. I didn't even know why they were so angry, but we would get some really major, like, bomb threats, or we would have some people that were incredibly obsessive with some of the operators because they would be so nice. It was a crazy time, and that coupled with still living at home in the dysfunctional family, and also finding out that my ex this would be the first time that he cheated on me. Remember what they say, always a cheater, once a cheater, always a cheater. Anywho, so all of that just broke me. I had enough, and I tried to commit suicide. And not to mention, I was still using here and there crystal meth. So all of that together sent me on a 5150. If you didn't know what a 5150 is a danger to oneself. So you have to be supervised for at least 3 days. So you're on a hold for 3 days at a rehab clinic where you're going to get, like, evaluated, make sure that, at the end of the 3 days, you're okay, just in case it was just an impulse. And what I had done is that I did try to take a bunch of painkillers. And my ex found me. He sent me to the hospital. I was forced to drink charcoal, which is fucking disgusting. And you barf it up. And this supposedly clears your system. And that's when they sent me to the rehab clinic. So basically, that's what I did. I told them what they wanted to hear. And finally, at the end of like 5 days, I was able to go home. I thank God that I went into that rehab because I met so many really good people just trying to make it. And one of them was an alcoholic. She had been there 3 times, but her family is like wealthy. But she would go to that one, which is way out of her town or her area, and she helped me appreciate my life more. But yeah, the whole thing did help me just realize that I was acting a little stupid about certain things, but stress is stress, and it just got to me. But yeah, I do appreciate it. It's like a calm environment. You're not even allowed to have caffeine. It was crazy. But I learned to find stillness and tranquility and calmness while I was there. I took it all in. I took full advantage of being in that rehab clinic for that short amount of time. And I went home with a newfound sense of just, it's all going to be okay, that kind of a feeling. After that, we got married. And I got pregnant. I wasn't supposed to get pregnant. As far as I know, the doctors, everybody told me that I was going to be sterile. because of my illnesses and all the medication I was taking, I wasn't supposed to have any children at all, but I did. I got pregnant. She became my miracle. I was a obvious high risk, but the night that I did find out, the morning that I did find out, the night before, like I said, I wasn't on birth control or anything. We weren't practicing like safe sex or anything. And besides, that's your husband. But I wasn't expecting to get pregnant at all. So I did a lot of drugs that night. I did drink. I did a little bit of heroin. I did a little bit of crystal meth. I had so much shit in my blood. Early in the morning, the night that I freaking knew that I was pregnant, I threw up everything. Everything just came out. I was just retching for a while. I was just retching away. And I was like, I'm pregnant. I know that I'm pregnant. My body is rejecting everything right now. And so from then on, I stopped using. For that time, while I was pregnant, yes, I did stop. When she was a very young child, a baby, I did stop because I had to breastfeed her. So I did stop using everything. Guess the worst thing I did was caffeine. Oh yeah, and the doctor did say that he put me on a light dose because of my arthritis and my diseases. I was allowed to be on a painkiller, a very light dose painkiller. So yes, my daughter was born with painkillers in her blood, a very light dose, but then again, like I said, I was under the treatment of a neonatalist, a specialist, and they claim that it would be better to be on a very light, monitored dose of painkiller than to take me off of it, because I would be in so much pain, because also obviously pregnancy is rough on the body, and there's no way I would have been able to bring my daughter to term. But I did, thank God, and I think that'll be the end of the video for now. Yeah, let me know if you guys want a part 2. There's still a little bit more to tell, and this is a part that I was coming to want to tell you guys how would you react to it, but save that for the next video if you want to watch it. You want that, give it a like. Like I said, I'm just trying to open myself up to you guys, and thank you for listening. If you did stay this long, let me know what you guys' experiences are. If you guys have any kind of any experiences whatsoever, I would love to just start dialogue with you guys, or just be more open about things. I'll see you guys in the next video. Like I said, drop a like if you want to see a part 2, and thank you so much for just letting me be in your lives somehow. Remember, you guys are beautiful, and you make the world a better place just by being in it. Don't ever forget that, and don't let anybody take that away from you. But I'll see you in the next one, okay? Thank you. Bye.